So because you're entrepreneurs, I'm sure you've heard and you've used the term MVP in all sorts of contexts. But at least after today's session, we should have some kind of consensus, at least on the definition of an MVP. So without much further ado, let's get cracking. I'm going to share my screen now. And please let me know, typing 111 into the chat box if you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, please chat 111 into the chat box. Okay, we can 111. All right, okay, that's my typical way of gauging audience engagement and attention. All right, so from time to time, I'll be doing that. I'll type random things that I know ahead of time. All right, so this is the tool, right? Story mapping is where we're going to play interactive. I'm going to need us to switch on our mics. You generally know when you should, when I ask a question, when I ask the audience a question, and I will need us to participate. This game introduces us to the concept of story mapping. In product development, you will carry out journey mapping, user journey mapping along the way. But this game is not primarily about user journey mapping. It's more focused on story mapping. And story there represents a user story, representing a discrete unit of work that needs to be done, or that a discrete unit of value that needs to be delivered to the end user. So the game is going to be played, and the game starts now, right? Okay, so imagine that today, we're going to take one person. Let's use me, for example, okay? Let's say that I work on the island, right? And I live on the mainland, right? And on a typical day, I wake up my alarm is set to 5:30 to wake me up by 5:30. And I work in a bank, so I need to resume 30 minutes before customers are let into the bank. I need to be at my office on Admiralty, a bank branch on Admiralty, right? I need to be at my office on Admiralty by 7:30 a.m. So I have 2 hours between opening my eyes and arriving at the office every day. And that happens every day. Somehow I'm able to configure all of the things that I have to do and arrive at the office on or before 7:30. So let's take a typical, let's map this typical scenario that I just described onto the board. Now you're looking at a tool that I use. I have a coach license with these guys. It's called Stories on Board. And of all the tools that I've used, that I've attempted to use in the past, say 3 years, this is the closest digital tool to the reality of story mapping that I have found. So it's very, very good. When we go through this exercise together, you'll be able to imagine how it can be repeating this same process on a physical wall in your office if you have an office. So let's take it like that. Let's just start with a new story map, okay? And I'm going to set up some things now. I'm going to say this story map is called Wake Up FI Cohorts. This is cohort 3, I think. But I think you're called Virtual 2020. Okay. Oops. All right. And let's just create that story map. Okay. Someone asking a question. Okay, would you? All right. I'm just going to go ahead and set up the infrastructure, as it were, scaffolding. Let's call this user goals, okay? Just follow along, it's very easy, and you don't need to be a techie to play this game. Under there, we're gonna have another row called user journey. Okay. And here we're going to have something called user stories. All right. Okay. Now, can someone tell me what our goal is? Okay. I described a scenario. The scenario is to wake up, to be awoken by my alarm clock, our alarm clock, all right, to be awoken by our alarm clock by 5:30 every day, and to arrive at the office by 7:30. Can someone give me a concise, like, articulation of, of that goal? Hello, please switch on your mic and speak.
Hello?
Okay, let me help you now, just to move things along. Let's say that the goal is to get, go on. Someone was speaking just now.
Oh, okay. First goal is to wake up by 5:30.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. Irene, do you want to say something?
Okay, I was
Your mic is on.
okay, yeah. So I wanted to say what he said. Oh, the first goal is to wake up in the morning at a certain time, which is 5:30 as is given.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so because you are new to the game, let me smoothen things a bit. So the goal, actually, those things are not the goals. Those are steps to arrive at the goal. The goal actually
is to be at work at
sorry,
a certain
can you hear me?
Yes. To get
Actually,
to the office, yes.
So the goal is to get
to the office
by 7:30 a.m.
Okay.
Right. So that's the goal.
Yeah.
Okay. Want to say something?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So let's go on. Let's move things along. Now, I'm going to need us. Now, this is where I really need our participation so that you. I'm going to need us to imagine the chronological sequence of activities or steps that you carry out between when that alarm sound wakes you up and when you open the door of your office building, somewhere on Admiralty Way. What are those things that you do on a normal day when you have your 2 hours of ample time to do all the things that you would do and get to the office? So volunteers, let's start going.
I snooze first.
Okay. All right. I'm listening. Go on. Give me more.
Then I get out of bed and drink water. Snooze for an extra 10 minutes before I now step up, get out of bed.
Okay, so let me help us. And this is normal, right? Every time I play this game with a new group of people, this is normal. Those things you're saying are low-level, are granular tasks, right? So snooze, drink water, brush my teeth, shower, blah, 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 are granular tasks or activities that you will carry out. Now, what we need at this level, if I may use a slightly technical word, at this level of abstraction, are families of activities. So I'll just help us with one, just to set off our thinking, in the right direction. I'll say that the very first thing you want to do, for instance, some people would say that the first thing they would do, the first family of things that they would do is meditation. First of all, let me ask, is this thing legible enough or should I increase the size?
Please increase. Increase.
Okay. Okay. Is it good now? At some point, maybe when we are comfortable, we might have to bring it back so that we can take more boxes. But is this good?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let's say that the first family of activities is meditation. Under meditation, you could have pray, read holy book, worship, practice breathing exercises, whatever it is you want to do, right? And those things will fall here, okay? So this would be where you have your granular activities, okay? And so on and so forth, right? As children of that particular one. So if I were to be purist here, I would say that this thing you've just said, I could call it, you said you would drink water. I could call that family of activities boot up, okay? Or you would snooze, generally wake up, right? I could say that this is what you want to do. And under here, I would say snooze. Are you with me? Hello, guys. Are you with me?
Yes, we are.
All right. Here you could have drink water, okay, and so on and so forth. So I've technically done 2 for us. Kunle David, just chill. Let's complete that. I've done 2 for us now. So let's think about the next ones. Okay. So I'm going to delete meditate now, right? Because I don't want. So if we have this family of activities called, if I call this family boot up, right? What do you think would be the next thing? Remember, this is a chronological sequence of activities. So what's the next thing to do?
Freshen up.
Hello, guys. You with me? Can you hear me?
What kind of family? Okay, freshen up.
as a family of as a category or group of family of activities. Okay. What would freshening up? Freshening up.
You bathe, brush your teeth, everything.
Yes,
But those are the children, right?
yes.
Let's deal with the families first. Let's go
Okay.
horizontal
Okay.
first, right? And then we'll
The
come back
next
to the children.
family is eating. What will I call that?
Can we call it breakfast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Palliatives.
He's laughing. Okay, guys, come on. Let's move. So what's next? I mean, you are free to disagree and move things up and down. I just need
the commute.
I need like 6 or 7 boxes on that. Say that again. Commute, right? Okay. I know a few things that I think you've already missed because I played this game many times, but that's
Okay.
fine. Commute is kind of near the end. So what else? What do you guys think? We have quite a number of people that are quiet. Esther, Comfort, Sir, Kunle, Tunde. Come on, guys. Tohib, Udin, Ugochi. Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
If
So
you exercise before you go to work, where would we put that one? Like
Thank you. So call that exercise. So now I would ask you, where would you place this in a chronological sequence? Would it be before freshening up or
Yes.
after freshening?
Yes.
before.
Before freshening up,
I
actually.
have to ask. I have to ask. I can't assume for you guys. So we have boot up, which contains those things. Exercise, we have an idea what we'll put in them shortly. Freshening up, we have an idea what we'll put in there. Breakfast, and then commute. Will you just finish breakfast and just commute? Isn't there something in between?
Packing your bags.
Thank you. Can we call that?
Dressing
can we call
up.
that packing?
Office
Say that
prep.
again.
Dressing up.
Office prep. We could call it office prep, or there's a word that I've seen used many times. We could call that, thank you, Kunle, we could call that grooming, right? Okay. And I imagine that grooming would be
Before the
somewhere
commute.
before commute, okay?
Yeah.
And then for the purposes of brevity, let's just say that the last step would be arrive, okay?
Yes.
All right. So this is a chronological sequence. It's important to remember this point for the first layer, for the first row of boxes that you fill out. Now, remember that this is a digitization of a manual process. I mean, before this year, this activity was popular as something that you do with people in an office or in or in a room with stickies on the wall, and you arrange it in the same
Yes.
manner. So let's go back to each of them and let's try to break them down. So under boot up, right, we have two things. Is this all you need to boot up? Snooze and drink water. By the time you've drunk water, are you fully awake and ready for exercise?
Most likely.
Okay, so let's go to exercise. What do you do when you are in exercise? What are the exercise things that you do? Jumping jacks, squats,
Planking.
Well, I guess you have to dress up for the exercise.
Holy Mary.
Yes.
Okay, let's
I think
simplify.
that will come
No,
under
that's
boot
fine.
up.
Yeah, that's fine. But let's leave out the dressing, the little bit of dressing that is needed for exercise. Let's focus on, when we talk about dressing, let's focus on the dressing that is needed for the office, right? So let's leave that one out. Let's say that under here we would have, someone said planking. Give me more. Come on, guys. Give me more.
Skipping.
Yoga.
Skipping rope.
Come on, give me more.
Stomach exercise.
Yoga.
No, I can't mute. I don't have powers to mute. Okay. All right. So someone said abdominal core exercises. So let's say core. Let's just say core, right? Excuse me. Any other?
Push-up.
Push-ups.
Push-ups.
She baddest. Like 300 every morning, right? Okay. Someone said yoga, comfort. Okay. I mean, just for the spirit, in the spirit of completeness, let's leave that. Let's move on. So remember that we are assuming that we have an agreed chronological sequence of yellow boxes, right? So after exercise, we would freshen up. Now, what are the activities, the granular activities that you would carry out under freshening up? Let's go.
Undress.
Undress is kind of too granular. Let's leave undress out.
You jump in the shower with your clothes, okay?
Well, I mean, let's just take the basic things, right? So, are you implying that shower is the next thing?
Sort of, yeah.
Something to do in that category, okay? And then, what next? What else, or rather, what else can be done in the category of freshening up?
What about brushing your teeth?
Brushing.
Is that granular?
Brushing, yeah.
Brushing is very critical.
Brushing. All right. What else? What else?
Then, I mean, just screaming your body and using deodorant and stuff. And
okay, so
you wipe your body.
Usually,
Thank you.
Okay. So usually when I play this game, we usually have one item called shaving/makeup, just to be gender neutral, gender balance. Thank you. All right. So shaving for the guys, makeup for the ladies. Anything else under grooming?
No, this is freshen up though.
Oh, this is freshen up. Okay. We may need to combine both of them, right? Okay. Yes, this is freshen up. Okay. So that's why I take the video to merge them. Can someone define freshen up and differentiate it from grooming? Are they significantly different, or should we just merge them?
I think we should just merge them.
All right. Any contrary opinion?
Yes, please. And I'm saying this because you have to, when you freshen up, right, you have breakfast. Grooming is for you to just pick up your bag and, commute. Like you can't groom and freshen up at the same time, right?
Okay, so perhaps I may have, by calling it grooming, someone wanted to call it office prep earlier on. Perhaps by calling it grooming, I may have introduced some kind of confusion. So let's go back to here and call this
Office prep,
prep, which is where you pick up your bag and do stuff. and let's call that
Yeah.
office prep, and let's drop it here. Are we all comfortable? Good? I'm good.
Yes.
Hello. All right, good.
When
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to breakfast. Under breakfast, what do you do?
you make your breakfast first, then eat.
Can we call that prepare? Okay. What do? You eat it, right? And then what do? Do you stop there, or do you?
You clean the
Let me just help us. Okay, that's fine. All right. Now, office prep. What do you do on that office prep?
dress up.
Okay. If you feel like you want to
You
move
back up your files. Okay.
certain things, if you feel like you want to move certain things out of shower, out of freshen up / grooming into office prep, feel free to tell me. So let's go on.
Yeah,
Apart from dressing up,
makeup may come.
So
Under-
would you rather push shaving / makeup somewhere here?
No.
Not
No.
shaving,
No,
That-
no, no,
that's
no, no,
enough.
no.
no.
but you can make up after. Anyway,
Okay.
that's my ritual. Like I would make up after dressing up.
Okay. Okay.
So
Comfort, just join the band, right? Just join the bandwagon for this exercise, right? You know, we will.
Okay.
All right. So what do we do after dressing up on that office prep?
Pack your files. Look where your documents for work are, phones, chargers, all your work bags. You're making sure everything is. Yes. Tools. Yes.
Right? Just in case you worked overnight and wires and chargers and laptops.
Yes.
iPads are all over the place. All right. Anything else on that office prep?
Nope.
Okay. So we're good. On that commute, what do you do?
You get into the car.
Okay,
Right.
so let's assume calm down. We know you drive a 2019 Benz AMG.
Okay.
Calm down. Let's assume that you drive a rickety 2001.
When
Well,
you
it's-
sit in the
It's
car,
Toyota Corolla, so it will take you. It will get you to
most
the office
people
no matter what.
push
So,
the
Yes.
car.
You
what do
check the oil.
Thank you. That's where I was going to. So you check car, right?
Take the water.
So let's,
Keep a
let's-
bottle of water handy.
let's call oil, water. Let's just say you check the car, right? Let's
Battery, fix the battery.
guys,
The
calm down.
battery.
Oil,
Borrow
water,
a
battery,
battery, not the car.
carburetor. What else do you check?
Call your community member to push the car.
Oh, don't worry. Let's pray that it works every day, right? And you check the car. So all of that is captured and checked.
Amen.
Now you also warm the car after checking it, right? Because, and then what do? You drive, right? Okay. So when you get to the office, I'll help us with this. When you get to the office, what's there to do? Park and enter premises, right?
Sign in. Yeah.
Okay, don't worry about that. You see that it really doesn't matter. Okay, so we have two dimensions of meaning that we can apply to this board, this layout, this visual layout that we've created. On the yellow row, yellow horizontal line, we have families of activities. In a product, in a digital product, these families of activities would represent what you call features. And features are high level, semi-high level functionalities that are expected out of a certain product, right? Digital product. And on the white rows and columns, you have granular user stories, which are granular units of work, right, that are to be implemented by your technical team. You know, so when the technical team picks item snooze and they implement it, and it's done according to something called the definition of done, then it's done, right? You know, so future work should not affect that particular stuff. So now we're going to carry out one more exercise now. We deliberately arrange the yellow row in a chronological order, you know, in a time sequence. Now we're going to arrange each vertical column under each yellow box, each vertical column, not according to time or chronological sequence, but according to priority, according to importance, right? So if on an imaginary day, for instance, you had to choose between, if you go on that exercise, for instance, let's just use exercise. You had to choose between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things to do. Which of them would you, excuse me, which of them would you do would always be your first choice? Which of them would always be your second choice? In other words, if you could only do one of these, which one would it be? If you could only do 2 out of these 5, which 2 would those be? And if you could only do 3, which 3 would those be? So can I get feedback?
Skipping rope.
So skipping, so let's do that for boots up, and then we'll come back to exercise. Under the top family, what would you do? Which one is absolutely more important than the other?
Drinking water.
Do we agree with that? So when you establish that priority order, you reorder that priority ranking, you reorder the cards to reflect that. Okay, so let's go to exercise. Tunde said, was that Tunde? Tunde said skipping rope. Some people have been quiet. Let me call people out. Let me bring them front end. Dean, I haven't heard your voice. Sister Esther, I haven't heard your voice. Godwin, oh, Marie. Anyway, I mean, just guys, just try and participate. So you said
it's push up for me.
skipping rope, right? If we move skipping rope to the top, we're implying that that's Udin. Are you saying that push-ups would follow or be on top of skipping rope?
Push-ups would be on top of skipping rope for me personally. Okay. Because I mean, obviously it's 7. You're getting to the office by 7:30. So, okay, what works better is you just get up the bed and you fall on the floor and you do a few push-ups and then you get in the bathroom. So skipping ropes are usually more a Saturday kind of stuff.
Okay, for you.
Yes,
okay.
For me.
Right. For me,
mine would be yoga.
Irene. Okay, so can we just use one person? Can I veto, right? Just to move the game along. Can I say that I would do skipping rope first, and then I would do yoga, and then I would do push-up. Don't think about how logistically consistent this is, right? In terms of logistics, don't think about it. Just think about it in terms of importance. Again, if you absolutely had to make a choice, which would be the first, which would be the second, which would be the third? This vertical ranking that we're doing is not according to time. So it doesn't necessarily, step 2 doesn't necessarily have to follow step 1 according to time, right? It must be the second most important thing to do in that category. Now let's go to freshening up. Let's just say that this is good enough. Skipping rope, yoga, push-ups, planking, core. Okay, let's go to freshen up. What would be the absolute most important to do under freshen up?
Wow.
I think
not according to time, not according to a chronological sequence, but according to importance. What can you absolutely not do without? Okay.
I think it's already been prioritized. So I think shower is the most important. If there was anything that I could leave out, then that would be the makeup. So I think it's been prioritized already.
That's for you. Does everyone agree?
Yes, I agree to that.
Okay.
I do not.
Okay.
Okay.
What will you say? Go on.
I would say before.
Brushing teeth comes up for me, really. It has to depend, but for me, brushing teeth comes up. Obviously,
Godwin, the implication, okay, that's fine. I hear you, Godwin. But let me explain to you that the implication of what you said is that if push comes to shove, you would rather go to the office without a shower but having brushed your teeth.
Sure.
That's what you're saying.
Sure.
Are we right?
Yeah, that's correct. Because I might have taken my bath, the previous night, so I can manage.
Absolutely.
Don't worry, we know those of you, but we know those of you that went to boarding house and know the art of rub and shine. Don't worry, I'm not going to take anybody's name because I went to boarding house too. Okay, so that's messing around. Okay, so that's for you. Now for comfort, who chose shower above brush? What you're
No,
saying?
it was Esther. I think I go with Godwin because I can't take a smelly mouth to the office, right? I could have showered that night
You
and
can't take
just
something smelly. Whether
my
it's your
could
mouth or your body.
off I
Calm
go.
down now. You take something smelly. So for
Maybe I should have kept quiet then. I don't know.
The implication is that you would rather go if you had to choose and you were under pressure, you would rather go to the office with a clean body, and maybe you have mint or so. I don't know how that's going to work for you, or you have Tom or buttermint in your bag.
Oh, there's mouth spray.
Or you have like I know I won't say whether it's still in my car or not. A couple of years ago, I used to have a complete shower kit and toothbrush and toothpaste in my car, ready to go at any point in time, just because of the lifestyle that I used to live. So if that can work for you, then you can go to the office and you can go to the bathroom and take care of yourself. All right. So let's just use this order. Let's use brush teeth, right? Because I'm vetoing. Okay. So let's put brush teeth at the very top, and then we have the shower and we have the shave/makeup. All right. Under breakfast, remember again that this is not a chronological sequence. What is the absolutely most important thing to do here in this category?
It's prepared because you can take it away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And then cleanup is not as important as eating it, right? So we can leave that.
Yeah.
Let me switch off the video. All right. So so office prep, right? The first thing you would do, I imagine, is to would that be dress up or would that be to gather your work tools?
Gather work tools first.
Okay. All right. Maybe you can dress up in this case or in your car or something. I don't know. But that's fine. Okay. Now under commutes, now again, remember that this doesn't have to follow a dependency or a time sequence, right? So what's the absolutely most important thing to do under commute? Hello guys, are you still with me?
Yes, we're here. It seems well arranged, but
if you don't have a car, what happens?
If you don't have what?
A car.
Yes.
Oh well, in this case, just for this game, you have a car. Let's just you see the relevance later when I explain what's going to happen. So, do we agree with this order?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Okay.
No. I guess when given that, okay, if we're saying the absolutely most important thing to do, obviously it would be checking the car. But if you had to choose one, obviously it would be driving, right?
Actually, so, that's the thinking I'm expecting. Actually, not per time, not a ranking based on time, but a ranking based on absolutely important. So actually, the most important thing to do here is to drive, right? Okay. So
really,
actually, yes, because you may be under pressure and skip the car check and skip the warming of the car and just get out of the house.
And the car does not take you to the office.
Well, let's assume that this car will to the office. Let's just go and complete the game, okay? And then when you get to the office, you must park and you must enter the premises, right? Even though it will be in this order. So let me deliberately leave drive here. After we've established drive is the most important, let me deliberately bring it down so that you see the effects of this kind of arrangement if you meet it when you're doing it for your own product, right? Now I'm going to come here and I'm going to carry out an action called add a new release above. And now I'm going to call this release 1 in brackets MVP, okay? Now, I'm going to give us 30 seconds to think about a constraint. I'm going to apply a constraint now, and I'm going to give us 30 seconds. Now, these are family of activities. All these white cards is the family of activities that you would carry out on a good day. It's called the happy path in product development. When you have all 2 hours to do whatever you need to do to get to the office. However, this morning, 20th of November, something happened. Maybe you had a few drinks too much like yesterday evening, and you woke up at 6:30. In fact, you woke up at 6:45 and you need to be at the office. You live in Magodo and you need to be at Lekki Admiralty Way by 7:30. So you have 45 minutes instead of 2 hours. Now, the constraint is, in this particular case, a time constraint. Now, what are you going to cut out from this list of wishes, right? This list of ideal things to do. What are you going to do and what are you going to leave out? Now, one of the rules is that you can eliminate entire columns by just ignoring them, right? So if you feel that you don't even need to do anything under the boot up category, you can just leave it out entirely. If you feel that, now this is the value of prioritizing this is value of arranging by priority. So we have the skipping rope, yoga, push-ups, planking, and the core, right? So if you take the implication of this is that if you were to say that under 45 minutes, you only do the skipping rope, then you just drive and leave the rest in what you can call, whatever that is. I'm just trying to rename that, but let's just go on. That's beside the point. Okay. So do you get the logic?
Yep.
Okay. So
Yes.
okay. So what are we going to leave out and what are we going to absolutely do under 45 minutes between Magodo and Admiralty Way?
So for me, waking up, I won't drink water, I won't snooze. No skipping, no yoga. So I just go straight to brush my teeth, shower, no shaving. I can prepare and take my breakfast alone.
Okay. Let's take it column by column. Let's take it by column by column. So under the boots up column, what would you do?
Nothing.
Thank you. Do we all agree with that?
Precisely.
Yes. So
Precisely, yes.
All right. Under the exercise column, what would you do?
No, nothing. No press up at all. Nothing.
You guys wouldn't do exercise under 45 minutes.
Well, I'm just under 45 minutes.
I don't live in Lagos, so I don't know the state of third mainland traffic. I'm just talking.
So in Lagos, no exercise. No exercise.
We wouldn't do anything under exercise. Okay. What about? So let's go to freshen up and grooming.
I will allocate that time to brush my feet and shower.
You would only do 1 and
2. Yes.
Okay. At this point, we may need. We know what's in there anyway. Can we all still see it?
Yes.
I'm just trying to get everything on the screen at once. Okay. So are we agreed that this is what we do under freshen up / grooming? Now under breakfast, what would you do?
You only prepare.
And when you prepare, you probably pack it up, right? Prepare and pack up, okay? All right.
Yeah.
Does everybody agree you would even prepare breakfast or would you leave it entirely?
Well, I will buy the breakfast at work.
In Lagos, yeah.
Okay, so do you want to drag that back? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Under office prep, what would you do absolutely most important?
Gather work tools.
Gather work tools.
Let's gather your work tools. And if you don't want to be what's that nursery school story about the king that had no clothes? If you don't want to be the king that had no clothes, you better dress up. I advise you. Under commutes. Now, I deliberately put drive down. So if you are ever doing this and you find yourself struggling to easily pick off from the top of your list the most important thing, right? Then it means that you most probably thought about this vertical ranking according to time rather than according to priority. Is it clear?
Yeah.
That. So ideally, remember that this is what we agreed and this is what it should be. So it would have been easy to just say, I'll just drive off because I'm under pressure, right? Are we making sense? Is everybody on board? Are we together?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then when you get to the office, get into the premises, right? And then,
Park.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I said that one of the goals, one of the objectives of this session was that we would together in this session, at the beginning, I would have, by the end of this session, would have a common consent, we'll have a consensus as to what is the definition of an MVP. Now, ladies and gentlemen, according to the constraint that we applied to this scenario where we had a universe or a wish list of features, right? Given the current conditions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is our MVP, right? The MVP is that minimum list of things that must absolutely exist in the product in order for our user to be able to achieve their goal.
Okay.
Under the given conditions. Now, if this were a bank, First Bank, UBA, blah, 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 and your CEO, told your product or your department lead or your division lead that, gentlemen, all these things that you wrote, 50 million for a product, where am I going to get it from? Okay, your maximum budget is 10 million. That is a different constraint, right? And then you would have your universe of wishes or your wish list or your to-do list, right? And then you would apply that new constraint, this time a budget constraint rather than a time constraint. You would apply it to this universe and you come up with a different subset of features. That subset of features, which must depend on the constraints at hand, is the definition of an MVP. So technically speaking, until you discuss your universe of features, someone that you want to outsource product development to, when you're using words like MVP, technically speaking, that guy doesn't know what you're talking about. Because the guy doesn't know, first of all, the first condition is what is your universe of features? What is your desired to-do list? Secondly, the guy doesn't know what your constraints. If it would have cost you 5 million naira to build the entire product, and you only have 1 million, communicated that to the guy or to the lady, as the case may be, so that the product developer can understand and say, oh, under these constraints, this is your MVP. Or do you have a time to market constraint? Has your competitor released a certain quote unquote feature that you also need to quickly catch up with? So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our game. Any questions?
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Idowu, for facilitating this very incredible session. It's been very, very insightful, and I'm sure the founders have they've learned a whole lot of things, and they can have some direct application on their businesses. So I'm sure we can accommodate 1 or 2 questions, few minutes before 7. So please, if you have any questions for Akinde, please raise your hand and unmute yourself to ask your question. We have about roughly 9 minutes to go. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand. Let's see. I'm sure our mentor will be more than happy to take questions at this point.
I am. So, any questions? Don't worry, feel free. My pastor said that is a sign of intelligence.
So who's going first with the question? Is it clear? Is it interesting? Takeaways, thoughts, comments, feedbacks, questions?
That means I did a horrible job if there are no questions.
Or maybe you did a really good job.
It was an interactive section, so.
Yeah, I believe you did a good job. I'm just wondering if we can actually apply this, or if we can take an example, maybe some other time, on real life product development example. Say, for instance, like you mentioned in a bank.
That's fine. That's fine. Let me explain why I do this in this game playful format. If the first introduction you have to this exercise is a serious thing, most likely you'd get lost into the thinking behind arrangement or the the placement of various cards on the map, right? So what I do in my own private consultancy is that I do this exercise for potential clients as a no obligation first exercise, because at the end of the day anyway, we will need to agree on what it is exactly that you want to build. And permit me to use the term, a lot of people have a lot of cobwebs in their brain about what they want to build. So it's this kind of exercise that helps me even first of all help them filter through all the things in their brains and say, you see those things that all those things that you think that you are all equally important, actually they are not all equally important. And then after this session, we can then take it to a more serious session. We can apply the same principles to an HR application, for instance, or a fintech application, for instance, or a health tech application, for instance, and apply whatever constraints are there. So yes, I'm open to having that. Discuss with the FI people, and we can make that work out.
Okay.
All right.
Fantastic. Do we have any other comment, feedback? We can take one more or two before we close for the day. Okay, so if there are no comment questions, do I take it that everybody is fine and we all benefited and learned something useful from this game, this whole process this evening? Okay, let's just have one more person. One person give feedback.
Was it confusing for anyone?
Very easy to.
For me, it was clear enough.
Okay.
So, but I
building something for a user, do you shadow the user to make sure step by step?
Excellent. Good question, Uju. So if you look at the naming of the first cards on every row, the blue row, the yellow row, and the white row, you see user, user, user. Now, when you get to the actual business context that pertains to your own particular product or company, as the case may be, then the goal in the first place, right? You imagine that we only elaborated the list of features and user stories according to this particular single goal, the goal of getting to the office. If the user has another goal that they would like to use our products to achieve, for instance, then we would have goal 2, and then we'd carry out this entire exercise again for goal 2, and then we'd have goal 3, and so on and so forth, right? Do you get that point? The second thing to say is that all of our thinking here is actually from the perspective of the user. So your thinking for the first row is what's the goal that they want to achieve, goal 1, goal 2, goal 3. For the yellow row, under goal 1, or with respect to the goal 1, what is the sequence of steps, or how do we envision that a user would use our product to achieve their goal? So a user's goal is to borrow money from a fintech application, right? Some kind of consumer lending application. You need to imagine ahead, what are the sequence of steps that the user would carry out to achieve that goal of receiving a credit alert on their phone? So between logging in all the way to receive credit alert, what's the chronological sequence of families of steps? That's what we did with the yellow thing. And then when you get to the white boxes, what are the details under each family? And then you remember that you would prioritize. So you would say, if you had, for instance, a desire to have both register by email, register by social media, register by some kind of, if you're technical, there's something called OAuth or something like that. You could then say these are 3 alternative ways of registering, right, for our users. But which of them is highest priority, right? Most probably for you, if you feel like your particular demographic must have email, they are not very social media friendly, then you know that email must bubble to the top, and that must be the absolutely most important thing that you must do for that particular release. Did I answer the question?
Yes, it does. I think there was a time I did something similar for another idea I had, and my user journey, when I actually put it against the real user journey, was so different. And so sometimes I wonder if, like, you might be designing something for someone and you believe that you know how they arrive at where they arrive, but like sometimes you have to actually maybe shadow the user. Sometimes I'm just throwing that out
Okay,
there.
okay. So I get your point. Now remember that this is something that goes that goes hand in hand with typical product discovery, solution discovery techniques like design thinking, design sprints. So typically, you would either have a focus group, which is like a subset of your user group, right? Or if this were some kind of enterprise application that you were building for a business, a B2B application, you most probably invite, even if it's just a few of those users to come over into your office and participate in this process. So they will be the ones to tell you this step actually must occur before this, because hey, I don't care about you technical guys. This is the happy path, or this is the way that I can use a desired product to achieve my goal. So yes, if you can't get users to physically participate or to actively participate in this process, then you can shadow them. But the ideal is to have the users themselves, in addition to all the stakeholders on your internal team.
7 o'clock.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much to everyone for participating. I do not see any hand up, so I assume that we do not have more questions or comments. And to our mentor, we would like to say a big thank you for taking the extra time out this evening to share deep thoughts around product development with the team. We appreciate you, and we're grateful for time well spent with the team. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you all. Have a lovely Friday evening, and see you all on Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much, Akinde, for your time. We appreciate it.
Someone's asking, can we have an email or phone? Can you reach out to Mr. Mofai? Can you share? Should I?
Okay. What exactly is the question?
Can we have an
what email?
I was asking if it's possible to have a one-to-one with Idol to see how I can apply this to my particular startup idea.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to I send you my email address. You can send an email to me for the introduction.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. This is Kunle, right?
Yes, it is.
All right.
All right. Thank you, guys. It was just playing with you guys this evening.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thank you, Idowu. It was a good one. Yeah. Good evening. I'm very well. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, bro. All right.
Yeah.